They say every soldier carries ghosts from the war. Some you see in dreams, others you hear when the wind hits just right. My name's William Carter. I served with the 45th Infantry Division in 1944, southern Germany. We were sent to occupy an old German communication outpost. On the map, it was just another pile of ruins. But what we found there wasn't on any map, and after that night, I stopped believing that war only kills the living. There were 4 of us that night: Miller, Grant, Thomas, and me. The base was cold, damp, and smelled of mold and rust. We had been clearing out the underground tunnels, marking what was safe to enter. The Germans built miles of these bunkers, some connected by narrow hallways that went deep into the mountain. Miller carried the flashlight, Grant the demolition kit. Thomas stayed by the radio, keeping contact with HQ. I remember the sound of our boots echoing, that hollow, empty rhythm that made it feel like someone was following us. But when we stopped, it stopped too. We reached the far end of the main hall when Miller noticed something strange. The wall looked newer than the others, smooth concrete, no bullet marks, no rust. It stood out. He tapped it with the back of his rifle. Thud, hollow. Grant looked at me and said, "There's space behind that." We thought it might have been sealed after the bombing. Maybe an ammo storage. So we started chipping at it, just to see. After a few minutes, part of the wall gave in, a piece fell off, and a burst of cold air hit us in the face. It wasn't just storage. There was a stairway leading down into complete darkness. The stairs were narrow and damp. Every step we took echoed a second later, like the sound was bouncing off something alive. The deeper we went, the colder it got. No rats, no insects, no sound at all. About 10 feet down, we reached a heavy steel door. No markings, no handle, just a small crack along the edge. Miller pushed on it gently, and it swung open with a hiss of air. The smell hit us first, like old oil, burnt paper, and something else. Something rotten. Inside was a small room, maybe 10 feet wide, low ceiling, walls covered in faded maps and half-burned notes. In the center, a desk, a chair, and a radio transmitter, still connected to wires that disappeared into the concrete. "This can't be running," Grant said. But the light on the transmitter was glowing, a weak, orange pulse. Miller, being curious, reached for the switch. The radio came to life with a crack of static, a low hum, then a man's voice, speaking German, slow, deliberate. Thomas, who knew a bit of German, froze. "What's he saying?" I asked. Thomas whispered, "He's repeating the same line, over and over." I asked him what it meant. Thomas swallowed hard. "He's saying, 'I'm still down here.'" None of us spoke after that. Miller insisted it was just a recording, maybe left running for decades. But then the voice changed tone. It sounded aware. "Did it just say your name?" Grant asked. Miller laughed nervously. "No, it didn't." The radio crackled again. This time, clear as day, in German, and then in English. "Miller," my blood went cold. Miller dropped the flashlight. The light rolled across the floor, revealing the far wall. There were markings scratched into the concrete, dozens of tally marks, and words carved deep into the surface. I couldn't read all of it, but one line stood out, written in English. "Don't listen." The room's light started flickering faster. The radio emitted high-pitched feedback. Thomas shouted that his radio connection with HQ was dead, pure static. I tried to move toward the stairs, but my legs felt heavy, like the air itself was pressing down on me. Miller was staring at the transmitter, frozen, whispering something under his breath. "It's not done. It's not done." I grabbed his arm. His skin was ice-ringed. Suddenly, the radio stopped. Complete silence. Then, one final transmission. He never left. Every light went out. We ran. When we got back to the surface, it was dawn. Thomas was shaking. Grant refused to talk. Miller just stared back at the entrance, eyes wide, whispering it was calling me. We reported what we found, but Command brushed it off. No lower level exists in that structure, they said. You boys were probably disoriented. But I knew what we saw. And I knew that radio had been speaking to us. 2 days later, Miller disappeared. His gear was gone, his bed untouched. The only thing left behind was his flashlight, lying right where the hidden wall used to be. I went back once, years later. The bunker was gone, buried under new construction. But sometimes, at night, when I turn my old radio on, I still hear static, and beneath it, a faint voice, whispering in German, saying the same thing over and over again. I'm still down here.